All right, this is our first session with puppy Teo. He found the bed and he's just relaxing right now. Yeah, we're gonna play though. Good boy, what is this? He is very outgoing. Brought him down here to our little training space and he's just running around like a crazy person. Just exploring. Got a really outgoing personality. So much bigger than your sister. Okay, are you ready to play? Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do with Teo is I'm going to teach him what the clicker means. So I have a little clicker here in my hand. So the clicker is going to tell the dog when they did something right, and they start to associate the sound with their food reward. So since Teo has never heard a clicker before, we are going to start by charging the clicker. I'm gonna just make that click sound, and then I'm going to feed Teo a piece of food. Good boy. Very good boy. Do you have a blue eye? Oh, look at you, pretty boy. How cute. Because you're so blonde. So I'm going to do this 3 to 5 times in a row where I'm just going to click the clicker and then feed Teo a piece of cookie. And we will do this for the first week of training with these puppies. This is how we're going to start our training sessions with them. Just for the first week, to kind of warm them up, remind them that the sound of the click means food is going to happen. So you can see I usually start by holding the clicker behind my back. We don't have to click at the dog. The only thing that matters is that they hear the sound and then they get the cookie. I'm holding the clicker behind my back because I want to make sure that I'm not clicking it too close to Teo's face right now. I don't want it to scare him. Good boy, that was fun, right? So easy. That was pretty easy. So the next thing that we need to teach our puppies is that they can follow a food lure in our hands. So most of the behavior that we teach our puppies and a lot of the behaviors that we teach our adult dogs are going to start by us luring the dog, having them follow a cookie in our hand to move into the position that we want them to. So I need to teach Teo this concept. He is so playful. Yeah. So I'm gonna get a couple cookies ready. Gonna have my clicker ready. What? Where's your little Dougie? Did you bring it over here? Yeah, you want to play, don't you? Okay, so I'm going to show Teo that I have a piece of food in my hand. But this time I'm going to slowly move it so that he's got to take a couple steps to follow it. Then I'm going to mark that movement with the clicker. And after I click the clicker, I will feed him the cookie that's in my hand. So let's do that again. Notice how close I keep the cookie to Teo's face. I'm moving nice and slow, because I want to keep the puppy connected to my hand. Yeah, that's a piece of hair. Keep the puppy connected to my hand when I'm using a food lure. I don't want to move really quickly because I don't want the puppy to disconnect from me. Good boy. After he takes a couple steps, I'm going to click and then feed that treat. Let's do this one more time. There is it. There it is. Oh, do you see how he disconnected a little bit? So I just slowed down. Good boy. And actually we are going to do this one more time because I got one more cookie left. There it is. I want the dog to stay connected that whole time. You are so curly. Curly and cute. And I have cookies all over my pants from playing with puppies. Now, in between exercises, we are going to take some play breaks, which Teo does not mind. He loves these toys. Look at him go. Puppies have very short attention spans, so I want to make sure that, we might practice an exercise 3, 4, probably 5 times max, and then we're going to take a little play break. It doesn't have to be very long. I just don't want to work, because I don't want to lose the focus from the puppy. I don't want exercises to become boring. I don't want training to become boring. Oh my goodness. You have the most spunk so far. Yeah, get it. So when I toss Teo's toy, I'm gonna pair that with the cue, get it. That means that he can go and chase that toy. Teo, get it. Oh God, he's kind of wiping out because these floors are slippery. Get it. Good boy, very good boy. And this is actually a nice transition into our next exercise. Teo, get it. Where I'm going to teach the puppy that you can also receive your food reward from off the ground. So we're doing follow the food in my hand, and then I would mark that and feed them. Now I'm gonna teach Teo another cue, which means go and receive your reinforcement from the ground. He's looking for the next thing that he can chase. Yeah, you like to play, huh? Whoa, don't bite my clicker, that's not a toy. Here he goes. They always try to experiment with that at some point. Yeah. All right, so this time, instead of having Teo follow the food that's in my hand, I'm just gonna show him that I've got a piece, and I'm gonna say, get it, and kind of toss it on the ground. And right now I'm gonna point it out to him. But this is also something that dogs need to learn, is that sometimes we're going to reward you directly from our hand, and other times, get it, I'm gonna reward you by tossing the food to you. So I like to put that on cue. Get it. So right now I'm only tossing this get it reset cookie, I don't know, maybe like 6 inches away from the puppy, not very far. But as they start to understand this concept, we can start to toss reset cookies all the way across the room. Get it. Very good boy. And let's do one more of those and take another little play break. Get it. Good boy, Teo. Yeah. Get your chicken. Oh my God, it's so funny. You are so funny. What? You want to snuggle? So all of the exercises that we're going to do are going to build on each other just a little bit. So far we have taught Teo what the sound of the clicker means. We have taught him that he can follow a piece of food in our hand. We have taught him that he can go after a piece of food on the ground when we tell him to go get it. The next exercise that we are going to do is we're going to work on a little bit of name recognition. So I want to teach Teo what his name is, and we're going to pair it with fun things. So it's very similar, basically doing the food lure, but now we're going to pair it with his name. Oh, good boy. Very good boy. All right, so let's give that a shot now. My clicker ready. I'm gonna get a couple of treats ready. I always want to use the smallest piece of treat that the dog will work for. So even though these treats I have are really little, I'm still breaking them up into even smaller pieces. So I'm going to start by holding that cookie close, going to get a couple steps, and then I'm going to say, oh, I want him to stay connected to my hand. Teo, good boy. So I'm going to say his name, mark that with the clicker, and then go ahead and feed him the treat. Teo. Good job, buddy. Let's do that a couple more times. He really likes this bed. We're going to do some foundation mat work next. I have a feeling he's gonna love it. Did you finish that cookie? Another one. Teo. Oh boy, you can have it. So this time the clicker was kind of close to him, and I don't know if you could tell in the video there, but he reacted to the sound of the clicker just a little bit. So I'm going to make sure that I hold it behind my back again. I really want the clicker to stay positive, for him to make the association that the click means that the treat is coming. Don't want it to be scary. Let's do that again. Teo. Ooh, wanted to be good. You see how I waited for him to reconnect with my hand? This is why we do this exercise with puppies now, because I don't want to move into more complex behavior like our different position changes like sits, downs, and stands if the dog isn't staying connected to my food hand, to the food lure. This is going to make teaching all those things even easier. Teo. Very good job. So these are the first foundation steps that I teach puppies. Here, you want to get it, Cookie? Get it. Good boy. So I don't worry about all those other behaviors until after they've gotten all these little foundations down. I mean, we might do some sits this week, but we're not going crazy with them. It's not the very first thing that I teach a puppy. Yeah. What is that? Oh, good boy. Oh, yes, good boy. Oh, look at you. You picked up that big rope. You can take it over to your bed. What is that? Good boy. Good job. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do to build off of all of these behaviors, so far we have taught Teo sound of the clicker. It means that a treat is coming. We've taught him to follow a food lure in our hand, and we have paired that with his name. And we have taught him that if I put a piece of food on the ground, you can go get it when I tell you. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to teach him the next foundation step, a hand target. It's going to be very similar to following the food lure that's in our hand, except I'm going to move a little bit faster. So instead of keeping Teo connected with me the entire time, I'm going to move my hand out a little bit faster and then see if he can catch up, come in, and target his nose to my flat palm. So I like to use a nice flat palm for this behavior because it will be an added visual cue that this is what we want from the dog, that we want them to come bop their nose onto our hand. So like with most behaviors, we are going to start with a food lure. You found my shoelace, and that's really fun right now. Okay, so let's see if we can redirect him off my shoelace. Oh, here we go. There's a little snack. So watch how I'm going to move a little faster. I'm going to show him that I have it, but then I'm going to bring my hand out. Touch. Very good boy. So there's going to be a little gap between Teo's face and my hand now, and I see that he can close in that gap on his own, and that's the hand target. Teo, touch. So I'm marking as soon as he catches up to my hand and when he bops his nose on my hand. Right now, he's taking the piece of food out of my hand. Teo, touch. And since we just did that 3 times in a row with a food lure, this time I'm going to see if he can do it with no food in my hand. Offered. Teo, touch. Oh, right there. Good. So as soon as his nose came up and I felt his nose on my hand, that's what I marked with the clicker, and they came in with the food afterwards. So since this behavior is so brand new for Teo, we are going to go back and forth between sometimes using a food lure and sometimes seeing if he can do it offered. By the end of the 3 weeks here, our puppies are probably going to be able to offer these behaviors much more consistently. You love those shoelaces. Yeah. Without having to have the food lure in our hand. So let's do this again. Show him that I have it. Teo, touch. Good boy. Okay, he ate that piece. Let's go to the next. Teo, touch. Very nice job. We're going to do one more with the food lure. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to wear Velcro shoes when I train with you. Teo, touch. Good boy. And this time, no food in my hand. Let's see if he can do it. Teo, touch. Good job, buddy. So I felt his nose, I marked it with the clicker, and then I came in with the food afterwards. Good job. That one was hard, huh? That one was a little bit trickier. Here, I'm going to sit on my shoes. Good boy. Good boy. He likes to play tug with this little chicken. Yeah. Good boy. So you notice with toy play here with Teo, he is really motivated to play with his toys. You can notice how I am tugging with him a little bit, but then I'm just letting it go and letting him win. When I play tug with puppies, I want to create motivation for the toy. Yes, good boy. And I don't want to be the one that's winning all the time, because then that's going to get really boring and frustrating for the dog. Yes, good boy. So I might play, tug with them for a few repetitions, and then I'm just going to let go of that toy. Okay, that's from the potty box. That's gross. You don't need that. Come here. Teo. Yeah, good boy. Nice job. Good. See how we got a hold of the toy, a couple repetitions of tuggy, and then I'm going to let go and let him win. Yes. Good boy. Let him target the toy. He grabs the toy, couple repetitions of tug. Oh, aren't you a tough guy? Toy play is incredibly important to teach puppies rules right off the bat. You'll notice that because Teo is all kind of amped up right now to play with his toys, which is awesome and it's fun, I'm not going to allow Teo to climb into my lap at all, because I want him targeting and biting the toy, not trying to target my arms or my pants. See how he just tried to climb up in my lap? I'm going to redirect him back down here on the floor. When your puppy is super playful and it's high arousal playtime, play should happen down here on the floor with toys. It shouldn't happen up here in your lap, because then you're just inviting the dog to start biting you. So it's important that you establish that right off the bat. And this is how you combat puppy mouthing and biting. Right? So you can most certainly snuggle with your puppy when it's snuggle time, but when it's crazy playtime, they are not allowed in your lap. They're only allowed on the floor, and they are only allowed to target the toy. Good boy. Yeah. Okay, so we did our hand targets. The next exercise that we're going to do here is with our mat. Teo already seems to love coming over to the mat, so he should like this exercise. And I have my clicker ready. I'm going to get a few food rewards ready. I'm going to push these other things off to the side for now. This one I'm going to stand up for. Now watch what I do here. I'm going to toss my mat down on the ground. I'm going to encourage Teo to come over to the mat, and when he does, I'm going to set 2 cookies down on the mat to reward him. After he eats the second cookie, I'm going to pick the mat up from underneath him. Hopefully he won't fly off the mat. And then I'm going to encourage him to come over to it again. When he does, I'm going to click to mark that behavior. And then I'm coming in with 2 cookies. I'm going to pick the mat up from underneath him before he has the chance to leave on his own. Okay, so we're going to do this 4 repetitions total. You see how now he's starting to get the picture? Now I'm putting 2 cookies on the mat, but not like in a pile. They're in 2 different places. Good boy, Teo. Let's do this one more time. One more time. See if he can do it. How about right there? Yeah, good boy. So our order of operations is mat goes down on the ground, dog comes over to mat, click the clicker, then we start to drop the cookies onto the mat. And that's all we're going to do with this mat exercise for today. We just did 4 repetitions. In step 1, what I'm looking for is that the puppy can follow the mat and target the mat wherever we put it. You don't really care in this early stage if the puppy is sitting, standing, or laying down on the mat. I just want to see that they want to follow it around, and we'll get feet on it. Then I will mark that with the clicker and start to drop those cookies on the mat. Oh my goodness, what a good boy you are. Oh, perfect. Got like 1 more minute here. I've got 1 more exercise that we're going to do with Teo. So we're always going to end with these handling exercises. Handling exercises are a really important investment to teach your dogs. The first handling exercise for today is we're going to teach Teo how to get dressed in his harness. So this type of harness, we have to slip over his head. So here's the hole where his head needs to go through. Okay, so I'm actually going to stick my hand through that hole, show Teo that I have the cookies, and lure his head to either hold still or come through that hole. Once it's on, I'm going to feed him a piece for that. Tell him he's a good boy. The next step that I have to do here, it's on the other side, you can't really see me, but I have to pull his little arm through the armhole, and I'm going to feed him a piece for that. Finally, I snap that buckle. Okay, so for each little step of getting dressed with the harness, I'm going to give him a food reward. Once the harness is on, now I'm going to try to keep him engaged so that he's not thinking about the harness and getting mad about it. Get it! So we could do a couple of those get it cookies. Right? Dogs aren't born knowing what it means for humans to dress them up. Get it! So I need to teach the puppy to accept, to tolerate, and hopefully even to enjoy things like wearing their harness, having the leash being put on them. This is all very restrictive for a dog. Get it? We can't just expect them to tolerate it. We need to take a little time to teach them some positive associations with it. Now the second handling exercise that we're going to do is teach Teo to tolerate a little bit of restraint. So I've got some food in my food hand here. I'm going to take my clicker hand and bring it right underneath his belly, apply a little bit of pressure, mark that with the clicker, and then feed the food reward. So I'll let you watch that one again. I've just switched my hands, so now I've got food in my left hand. Okay, clicker hand's going to come underneath his belly, going to mark that, and then feed him the treat. I think we'll do that 1 or 2 more times. Is it weird having your harness on? Now, if he was a much bigger puppy, I could like bring him in and do a little bear hug. These puppies are going to stay small breed dogs, so you can see with Teo, I'm actually almost kind of lifting him off the ground. We pick up little dogs a lot, so I want to make sure that they are comfortable with that. Okay, now I'm going to add a step. So clicker hand under belly, my food hand is now going to come under Teo's chest. You see how I just picked him up a little bit? I marked with the clicker when he was off the ground, and then I fed him that treat. Do one more time. Okay. Now I've got 2 hands on him. Very good job. What a good boy. All right, now we are going to use the food to get him undressed, very similar to how we got him dressed. I'm going to show him that I have it to lure him to hold still so that he's not biting me while I manhandle him. And the first thing I'm going to do is get that little foot out through the foothold. And I'll feed him a piece for that, for holding still. And finally, I'm going to slip it off. Oh, did you get it? I'm going to slip it off from over his head. Good boy. And feed him one final piece there. So that is going to wrap up our training session with Teo today. Did a great job.